So, but yeah, it's hard to do that when, I'm not rehabbing that one myself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it is a lot of work. I've been in project management for years, so I know it's, just doing a case study is like basically, putting together the project. So.
Yep. And, the other thing that didn't help me any is that, I'm in between rehab contractors right now. So I didn't have a contractor to jump in and talk specifics about rehab and stuff there. So that didn't help me either.
Yeah, and the previous owner was there and all that stuff. So.
And although, that went okay with them, they wanted my help, so we had a pretty good understanding, but it still does offer some restrictions and limitations, right?
Yeah.
So, but all in all, I think it went well. We had like 16 or 17 people there for that. So
wow,
that worked out pretty good.
That's a good turnout.
Give me just a couple more minutes here. We got folks checking in. Hey, Ruth Ann, Dominique, welcome. Again, I'll just suggest to everyone that you turn your cameras on. This is meant to be a networking event, putting names and faces together so we can get to know one another. And, unfortunately, we aren't to a point. Well, if I had the time, we could go back into a restaurant, but I got to find somebody to help me with finding a restaurant and scheduling it and so forth in order to be able to get us back in there. I found a place. It's just, that may work. We just got to have the time. Somebody's got to coordinate it. And by myself, I just don't have time. So anyhow, without further ado, welcome everybody. This is the March Lunch and Learn and Connect event, again, meant to be a networking event and in place of the actual physical lunch and learn. And there is no specific topic. Welcome, Markia. Sylvia, hello. Long time no see, huh? Jonathan, welcome. Yeah, so these events have no special topic. The original was just to meet for lunch, shake hands, get to know people, and just do a Q&A session. So you're welcome to eat lunch. I understand you don't want to be eating lunch and spilling food down in front of you while you're on camera. That's okay, I get that. But otherwise, if you wouldn't mind turning on your camera, that'd be great. So I'm gonna open it up to the floor. And what you can do is, I like to network on these things and give you a chance to network as well, and use the chat box. A lot of people don't want you using chat. I do. I want you to put your name, your email, your phone number in the chat and tell people what kind of deals you're looking for, or if you offer a service, contractor or something like that, then you're welcome to put that in the chat box as well. And then we're going to start off with Ruth Ann, one of our sponsors. And hello, Ruth Ann, and go ahead and introduce yourself. And thank you for coming today.
Sure, thank you. For those of you who haven't met me in person, I'm Ruth Ann Dunham with Service First Mortgage, and I've been with this group a very long time. I joined it to learn for myself, and then realized that I needed to be a sponsor and learn and help people as you learn. So I'm a traditional lender. I don't do hard money, but we do have a sister bank. So if it's a loan for you to buy your first rental or your first home, which might then become a rental after you're in it a little while, I can certainly do that. I provide down payment assistance for your buyers so that you don't have to build in out of your profit, build in any closing costs for them. Hopefully they might know they need a little down payment, but sometimes they forget about closing costs. So I have anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000 from different cities for these first-time buyers. And then whether they're first-time buyers or not, I have some state programs that will give 3 to 5% of the loan amount to them to help them buy your house. So hopefully that's a benefit. I can help you buy raw land, commercial building. I have an ITIN program. If your buyer is ITIN, I have that back now since the financial crisis has settled down a little bit. So I'll put my information in the chat box. Just give me a holler if I can help you. Thank you.
Ruth Ann, are you doing loans on used mobile homes now?
Not single wides, just double wides.
You are doing doubles.
Right.
And are you doing doubles not on land?
No,
So it's got to be on land.
right. The doubles that are in a residential lot, a mobile home park, no, they don't have any land that goes with them. We can't finance them.
Okay.
That would be like chattel. They have a title like a car.
Yeah.
So it's just like buying an RV to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And actually I went to the blue book, the not a blue book values to pull a value on that property. So, but I'm closing in one tomorrow in North Fort Worth in a nice park, double wide, 1,300 square foot. I don't do a lot of mobile homes, but I'm buying it anyhow because I'm doing it in my IRA. So I won't have a debt. I'm only paying 25,000. I don't have a whole lot of work to do on it. And it's 1,600 a month rent. So, and that's all tax-free income going back to my IRA. So
That'll be one of your sweetest deals.
it'll pay off pretty darn quick at 1,600 a month rent.
Mhm.
I got to level it just a little bit and put a coat of paint on it. And I mean, that's all that I really need to do, and skirting. But other than that, it's in pretty good shape. So thank you,
Right.
Sam, for being a valued sponsor. And you've been a long time sponsor of the group, and we appreciate you doing that. So
Very welcome.
do we have any other sponsors on the call today? I haven't recognized any names. Anybody? Any other sponsors? I'm sorry, somebody just say something? Okay, so no other sponsors. So we're just going to go around the room real quick. If you could just give us a 30-second introduction, who you are, what you do, what part of the Metroplex you're in. And then if you want to put it in the chat, you can do the same thing. And I'm going to start off with Mr. Sean there. Go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, Sean Smith, sorry about the lighting here. It's really bad. Anyways, I'm interested in real estate investing. I've been with the group a very short time here. It's kind of interested in learning from people that have done deals and just how they found the properties. Financing, I kind of know that part. I've been in mortgage business and real estate. I have my license and everything, and former project manager, so I kind of get that aspect of it. So I'm just kind of looking to learn from other people that are doing it, maybe partner. I don't know. I guess just get to meet people and learn.
Okay, and where are you located at, Sean?
I'm currently in Coppell, but I'll be moving up by the McKinney area in a couple weeks.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for coming out to the property walkthrough yesterday. Thank all of you that did come. We had a great day out there. And yes, I did sell the house. So that was a good day for me as well.
Wow.
Okay, Adrian, you want to go ahead and mute yourself, please, and introduce yourself.
Sure. Sorry about the camera not on. My name is Adrienne Bennett. I moved to Texas in April of last year, and I'm a broker in Maine, the state of Maine, but I'm working on getting my license here in Texas as well. I bought my primary home, and then I bought an investment home in Fort Worth, and I'm using that as an short-term rental right now. It's an Airbnb. I am learning or trying to learn about all aspects of investing right now, because I want to invest in assets more than what I've invested in right now, which is stocks. So yeah, looking at all different avenues and meeting people, networking, and seeing what's out there, and how I can help others and how they can help me.
So learning all aspects of this business is where you benefit the most from, because there's so many different things that you could do in the business. Of course, just to clarify one statement you made about interested in investing in assets, you want to make sure you're investing in the right assets, right? Investing in the wrong asset could get you in trouble still. But today's market, the real estate market is just booming. Still got to do it smartly.
Yep.
And once you learn how to do it smartly and you're buying them in self-directed IRA, man, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and the Airbnb or short-term rental market right now is just crazy. And it's high risk, high reward. But I'm willing to put the work in, and I have some ideas. I'm thinking of starting a property management company that specifically focuses on short-term rental properties and making sure that experience is the best for the guest. Not so much the booking side of it, but the cleaning, the house, the furnishings, things of that nature.
Service? You're going to provide service?
Provide a service. That's right. Do some work.
A great service, right? So,
yeah,
Well,
definitely.
thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see more of you. I think you're in the right place to be learning all those things you want to learn. Of course, I might be saying that selfishly, but I think you're in the right group. So we've had this group for 12 and a half years, and we have a lot of people in the group that maybe started where you are, or even at the very beginning. And that's okay. So that's what makes the group successful, is having a mixture of skills and talents and education and experience levels. So thank you for joining us. Okay, Mr. Dominique, welcome.
Hey, how's it going, Ted? Can you hear me?
Great. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Dominique Stevenson. I've been with the group about a year and 3 months, since last November the 20th, I believe. And closed on my first deal last Friday. It was a fourth.
Cool. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. With the help of Tim, I've been bouncing ideas off Mr. Tim there. And so he's very, very helpful for you guys, new guys. As we closed last Friday, we started a project. We got started in rehab, what's the day, Tuesday. And I'm going back down to Shreveport tomorrow for a couple of days. So hands-on, I got a great general contractor and subcontractor. I've been talking with those guys for months about building a team. So I did get me a great team down there. The real estate, she's a property manager, so she will be property manager my property. So right now it's going great. Like I said, I had to take a year and a half off. Well, I mean, a couple months. My baby girl passed last year, so I kind of took a mental break. But anyway, I live in McKinney, Texas, and like I said, this group has been very helpful. Mr. Tim, like I said, anything you need from him, he's a veteran in the game. So I'm very excited. I closed on my multi-family deal. My first one, my goal for this year was 6 doors. My first deal, I got 4 and possibly a 5th door. Storage unit I can turn into a 2-1. And
nice.
And I want to thank this group, Tim and all you guys. And if I can do it, you guys can do it for you newbies. I was a newbie just like you guys a year and a half ago. I focused on one thing, and I was all over the place like Tim, so I was all over the place. I focused it, narrowed it down, what I wanted to do, and I got it done.
I'm still a newbie too, man. I learn from every phone call, every one of these that we do. I'm always learning something. So, but thank you very much. thanks for coming today and congratulations on that first deal. So if we would, let's just try and keep these intros to like 30 seconds, please, so we can get through everybody and then we'll get to the main topic. So Markia, welcome.
Hello, my name's Markia and I'm new to the DFW area. I just moved from Chicago. I'm a new investor. I am working with Tim. He is my mentor, so he's teaching me the ropes. I'm very grateful for him. My focus is subject to and wholesaling. I've kind of been working with someone on the wholesaling, but my main focus is subject to. I think that it's all of the different details is very intriguing to me. So that's where my focus is. And that's pretty much it.
Did you make it to Chicago okay?
I did. I'm here.
Cool.
We're leaving in the morning. So we'll
Cool.
be back on the road at 3.
Okay, well, drive safe. Okay, Sylvia.
All right, so I've been a licensed realtor since 1999. I met Tim 20 years ago. He jumped off into investing and I did not. So here I am 20 years later. My goal is just to get caught up and get out there and get started with the investing.
Cool. Did you learn anything yesterday?
Yes, and it was helpful for Maria that came with me just to kind of get a feel of it. So yeah, it was a good lesson. I've definitely seen houses in that kind of shape or worse. So,
Yep.
but not near the value that one has.
No, I get that, but that's the market today, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll talk about that house some more here in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Okay, Young, is that how you say it? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, you got it, Young.
Welcome.
Thank you.
If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, so I'm a licensed realtor in Pennsylvania. We do flipping, rental in Philadelphia area. I just moved to Houston area, Texas, and looking to repeat my process here. So we average about 10 to 20 flip a year, and then a couple rental here and there.
Wow. Nice. So have you started the 10 to 20 flips a year in Texas yet?
No, I just moved here beginning of this year. Still getting to know the area, and then I'm in the process getting my license here as well.
Okay.
So I'm about like halfway through. Yep.
What part of Pennsylvania?
Philadelphia.
Okay. A good friend of mine runs the Pittsburgh REIA.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So, but yeah, it's a different market there than it is here though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
House here is a bigger, more different styles.
Yep. More expensive, outrageous price. Well, good. Welcome to the group. How'd you find us?
So I was on Facebook and real estate groups and all that stuff. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Always like to know what marketing's working, and being a virtual meeting, we can reach out to anywhere. But so thanks for joining us today, Juan.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chris Brown, welcome.
Me up. Hey, how's it going?
Good, good.
Chris Brown. I'm in the Hearst area. I've been a member since January, I believe, December, January, and I'm just trying to network and get educated and learn how to invest to the level of being able to create a monthly cash flow with it.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm just trying to get educated on real estate in general, all the exit strategies, and just having an understanding of how to approach the deals.
Okay. Welcome to the group. If you would, Chris, just make sure you get all your info in the chat box there for everybody, and we'll get to some questions and answers here in a few minutes. So welcome, Lisa.
Hi, Tim. Lisa Walker. I am currently with Texel Real Estate. I just changed after being 7 years with Remax. I'm also an investor looking for single family or duplexes for flips or rentals in Tarrant and Parker County. I've been with the group for 5-ish years now.
Something like that.
And I live in East Weatherford.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Lisa. Lisa's been with us quite a long time. She is the one that does the MLS data. When you go log into your members area, you'll see the market data there on your dashboard for Tarrant County. And Lisa's the one that keeps that updated for us. So thank you for that, Lisa. Mr. Jonathan, welcome, sir. Whoops, hold on, Jonathan. Go ahead, Lisa.
So also speaking to that, I'd sent you an email about that. A lot of times I do not update it till around day 10 after the new month, because, a lot of the numbers, a lot of the agents have like 72 hours to log in after the sale. So there could be a few day lag on some of that. So that's why I usually wait till around the 10th of the month to update those numbers. So I get all the previous month's numbers.
That's fine. Thank you. Okay, Jonathan, welcome, sir.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Jonathan, and I'm really here to network with you guys because I am not from Texas. I'm not even from the United States. I'm from Europe.
I couldn't tell.
You can't? Well, I hope it's okay that I'm here. And,
it's okay.
Yeah, and so I'm an investor together with my siblings in the Netherlands.
Okay.
We have student housing there. And well, we're beginnings. We're beginners, and our second investment property really gave all the experience, so to say. It had problem after problem after problem. And
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I can imagine. And yeah, so for me personally, health is very important. And so I start looking for, okay, how can I combine the two? And so basically I start a service to help realtors and investors to lose weight without dieting. And
well, all they got to do is be an investor and do the deal all wrong, and they'll be so nervous and scared they'll lose weight.
Yeah. It's not a strategy I would advise, but it's
No, I agree. That's why we're all here, right? So we can learn how to do it the right way.
Exactly.
So are you in the Netherlands now?
Actually, since a couple months, I moved to Germany. But
okay.
Yeah.
So you're calling in from Germany now?
I'm calling in from Germany. So for me, it's dinner time, not lunchtime. Yeah.
I would never know that. The call is really good.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, you hold the record for the furthest away for somebody to call in.
Okay, that's great. I feel honored.
Well, welcome to the call, Jonathan.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we can be some help. Okay, Miss, how do you say it? Kiara? Is that how you say it? Did I butcher that name too bad?
It was close to Kiara.
Kiara. Well,
Yeah.
welcome, Kiara. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's everyone? Hello. I just found this group like a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm new to Texas. I moved out here in August from Oregon. And I'm trying to get into real estate investing, and the way I'm starting is by getting into wholesaling. So right now I'm in the process of looking for motivated sellers and trying to build up my cash buyers list and get that process going. But what my goal is to like build up enough capital from wholesaling so I can invest in my first rental property. I'm trying to do like a duplex or something like that, or maybe 4 doors.
Okay.
But and I'm in search of a mentor for that, because doing this by myself is very hard to understand and everything. So I'm trying to learn about, and I'm also trying to learn about all the exit strategies when it comes to real estate investing. So.
And you want to learn it all by the end of business today, right?
That would be great.
Well, we can't do that, but we certainly can help you with some of that stuff. I do some mentoring too, so you're welcome to reach out to me, and all my info is in the chat box there. So I'd be happy to help you with that. And I think we got everybody, right? Everybody did a quick intro. So again, for those that may have joined a little bit late, the purpose of this call is just do a Q&A. You know, if we were at lunch, we'd be eating lunch, but so you're welcome to eat lunch while we're on the call. I just open it up to the floor to anybody that has any kind of questions at all. I have a couple things that I'll throw in time permitting, but go ahead and unmute yourself and let's try and answer your questions. If I can't, maybe somebody else on the call can. Don't everybody be bashful all at once.
So I want to know what's the best place for me to get started. Where do I just start?
Right here.
Okay, so I got that part down. Now what do I do?
So Sylvia, refresh my memory. I think you said you did some deals back in the early days, right? And they didn't go so well.
Oh, they were horrible. Yeah.
Have you done any wholesale deals or anything?
Not since then, no.
Okay. So, you know, for most people, wholesaling is where a lot of people start.
Okay.
The process is pretty simple to learn. When it's done right, it doesn't take any money of significance, $10, $100, as long as you learn how to do the process correctly. You know, in wholesaling, for those of you that may have missed the call, the main monthly meeting on Saturday this month, the beginning of the month, we did a wholesaling class. And I would suggest you go log in there and watch that training, because we record them just like this. We record them and we have the PowerPoint presentations in there. But that's a really simple process. Now, that wholesaling class we just did wasn't the how-to step-by-step part of it. It was the what is it, the legalities of it, the things to consider, and that kind of thing. We're going to plan a wholesaling workshop in the future. But, you know, basically wholesaling is you go out and you find a property that's in distress or the seller's distress, where you can buy it at a cheap price and turn around and market it and sell it at a higher price and make some sort of fee. You know, that fee can be, you know, if it's a bad deal and you only got $500 out of it, you know, that's $500 you didn't have, but you learn a lot in the process. Then you have those people that want to raise the price 50,000, 100,000, you know, 100,000 plus, and maybe the deal warrants it and maybe it doesn't. Some people are just greedy. I could have got more out of my house yesterday had I just pushed a little bit. And actually, I got an offer of 19,000 over asking price on that house yesterday, after it was already sold and under contract. But, you know, just, you never know what's going to happen. But, you know, that's what the process is. Very simple. You go market for those sellers. You got to choose the right list, the right house. You got to say the right things, learn how to go in and negotiate that at a decent price, do your comps, determine the after repaired value, what the repair comps or repair estimates are going to be. And then what do you want to sell it for, and still give the buyer enough of a discount where they can do the rehab. Okay. So that's the simplest thing. Marquis and I are working on subject to deals. And I love subject to. I grew up on that strategy rather than wholesaling. A lot of people use wholesaling because it's a simple strategy. Subject twos, the concept is easy. There's a lot of steps to it though, because you have to make the mortgage payments. You got to bring it current if it's behind on payments, things like that. So you got to have different questions to ask the seller than what you would a seller with a house with no debt on it. That's a wholesale deal. So you have all these different things. Subject to is the thing great about it is many times it won't require much money. Today's market, because of the high appreciation rates, people may need some money. But if the house needs repairs and they're in arrears, meaning they're behind on payments, facing foreclosure, you stand a good chance of being able to get into that house at a pretty reasonable amount of money. And reasonable is it could be $10, it could be 10,000. But what if you got 50,000 in equity and now you have a very nice house, $200,000, $300,000 house that you can rent or owner finance? So subject to allows you to take control of a lot of real estate with very little money out of your pocket and none of it affecting your credit. That's the great thing about the subject to strategy. And, you know, I love teaching that class, and probably we'll do another subject to workshop coming up this year sometime. So that's where most people start. The thing to do, we can talk offline, Sylvia, if you have an interest in talking about mentoring and stuff and getting a little more structured process moving forward. But that's where most people start. For those of you that are not members, another thing that I would suggest you consider is becoming a member of this group, because if you are a VIP member of the group, you have online access 24/7 to all of the past calls like this, as well as our main monthly meeting, which is where we really get into some deep content about particular topics like the wholesale class or subject to and things like that. There's 6 months of past meeting video, audio, and documents, plus a ton of forms. You get a free website. You get a free We Buy Houses t-shirt and a Round the Gram book when you become a annual member of the group. And it boils down to $10 to $12.50 a month average cost if you become an annual member. I mean, it's just peanuts for what you get, but there's so much value there by becoming a member of the group. So did that help, Sylvia? I mean, there's, you know, you can't get it all today. There's a,
Right.
you know,
No,
the buying process, the pre-screening, the building the buyer's list, you know, the marketing to sell, the marketing to buy, who to market to, all those things are important. Some of them you can do in parallel with one another. And, you know, and the trick there is for a lot of you that are new, you might feel a little overwhelmed once you really start getting into this. And you might feel like you're drinking from the fire hose. But how do you eat the elephant?
one bite at a time.
One bite at a time. And, you know, there's no way that even if I'm mentoring with you, there's no way that we can teach you everything in an hour or so call once a week, you know, to try and move your business forward quickly. You have to take some ownership in learning and studying the business on your own too. So, but we can do it. A lot of people have done it here. A lot of people are lifelong members of a REI group like this, wherever you live, like in Pennsylvania or wherever you're at. And it's where you can rub elbows with like-minded people, get moral support, get financial support, educational support, and so forth. You know, that's a lot of people become successful being a part of a group like this. So.
Yes, that definitely helped me, Tim. I also want to schedule some Tim time so we can discuss it offline, but definitely helps just to know where to start to focus.
Yeah, just reach out to me afterwards. And so you have my info.
I do.
Thank you. Who else? What's next?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
I want to know what's actually the best way to really network within the real estate field. So for me, it's quite new. First, I was really focusing with my siblings on the investing part, but now I want to build a network myself, or like at least network with others.
Okay.
So what are some good ways to do that?
So things that come to mind right off the top of my head without even really thinking about it is you're in one of them right here, because we do several calls a month, whether it's in person or virtual like this. But then you have social media and you have Meetup. Those two right there. I mean, there's meetup.com has got a bazillion real estate investment groups in it. You just have to pick the area that you're interested in investing in. And then social media, there's a bazillion Facebook groups and stuff out there related to real estate investments. So, you know, a lot of those are specific to a market, Dallas, Fort Worth or Orlando, Florida, places like that. So you would want to go pick, I would suggest go pick a market that you're interested in investing in. But there's no limit there on what kind of networking you can do in those groups.
Yeah, for me, it's here in Europe, of course. And COVID kind of really cut down on the meetup part, especially here. I don't know how different it is in the US.
Aren't
but
they
I
doing?
guess there are a lot more online happenings now.
Yeah. So those groups, like here, I even though we're using Zoom, I still want us to network using the chat box. You know, so many people don't allow you to do that, but I'd go looking for those, look and see if they will allow you to do that. Because I mean, seeing your face doesn't help you with being able to talk to you, right? So you got to have some way to share phone number, email, and I'm sure those groups are out there. Social media, most social media sites you can do that on.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I will look more into that.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Who else?
Hey, Tim.
Hi, Lisa.
I think I want to start doing some direct marketing to the foreclosures, you know, since that's open back up. That's one area that I don't have any experience in. You know, I have some knowledge of it, but not completely comfortable. So I don't know if that might be a class idea for one of the next few classes, or, you know, just a little information on that, especially like as an investor, how late can I step in and stop this, you know, from the foreclosure process? Because I mean, there is a timeline there.
Yep, there absolutely is. Somebody's got some loud noise in the background. If you wouldn't mind, make sure you're muted. But that's an excellent idea for a class, Lisa. There is a lot that we can discuss in that. Timing is critical. Even though, so let me just tell you a quick story. I did a deal several years ago where, and some of you may have heard this before, where this seller was behind on payments. They've only owned the house 3 or 4 years, so they didn't have a whole lot of equity. It needed some repairs, and the equity was so low in it that I didn't want to obligate myself to buy it subject to and bring the payments current and do the repairs too. It just wasn't of interest to me because of all those things combined. And, you know, some people will tell you that a free house is a free house, but I'm here to tell you a free house isn't necessarily a good deal, okay? Because if you start paying all the arrearages and you have to do a bunch of repairs and you have holding costs until you get it occupied, then you're in the negative, okay? So you have to be conscious of that and pay close attention to it. Well, this house wasn't one I wanted to close on, take over the mortgage, pay those payments, and rehab it too. So I made an agreement with them. We did an option agreement that was going to be subject to, if I closed on it, we did an option, and they knew, and this is an important part to you that I always stress, be honest with people on what you're doing. Don't try and BS them. Tell them like it is, what exactly you're going to do and what they can expect. Well, they knew they could expect that if I didn't find a owner finance buyer that had a big enough chunk of down payment to pay the arrearages, closing costs, and pay me a fee, basically an assignment fee, right? I mean, that's what we're doing in this case, is if I couldn't find that buyer, then they were going to foreclosure. And I had about, it's been a long time ago, but I think I had about 4 weeks at the time. And it took me a little bit because of what I just said. The arrearages combined with the repairs, there was some money there in closing costs. So it took me a little bit to find that person. I found that person. I found that person in the last week before the sale. Foreclosure auctions are on the first Tuesday of each month. I think I found that buyer on like the Monday before, so a week before the closing. I sent it to the title company. The title company was set to do the closing on Friday and pay the arrearages to the attorneys to stop the foreclosure. Okay. The title company on Friday said the buyer called and they were scheduled at 1 o'clock. They called and said, I need to slide till 4 o'clock to do this closing. They said, okay. The title company, unbeknownst to anybody there, closed, went out of business at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. I didn't get a big rise except I saw Lisa smile. So the title company went out of business an hour before the closing was supposed to take place. So the title company called me and told me, I said, you got to be kidding me. Well, I asked if they could send me all the documents that they created, and they were kind enough to do that. They weren't supposed to, but they did. And I recreated all the closing documents, and I had the buyers come into my office on Saturday and sign all the closing documents. Then, to make it worse, they forgot to bring their down payment money. So we had to meet on Saturday afternoon to give me the down payment. Well, I think they were bringing between 15 and 20,000. I don't remember what it was, but they brought it all in cash. He wanted to meet me in a McDonald's and count out this $20,000 in cash. Now, I know you're laughing.
You can't make this up, can you?
I was just getting ready to say, I can't make this stuff up. This is a true story. I told the guy, I says, no way are we sitting in McDonald's counting $20,000. Just ain't going to happen. So we went out to my truck and we did count that money out, and he had it all. And I told him, I said, this is what's going to happen now. I said, in order for me to pay, because we're already in Saturday before the Tuesday sale, I told him, I said, I have to go to my bank Monday morning. They were already closed on Saturday. I had to go deposit that money, create the wire transfer, and send it to the foreclosure attorneys on Monday in order to stop that auction. Well, guess what? We didn't hear that it was taken off the foreclosure list until 10 p.m. on Monday before the Tuesday sale. Now, do you think everybody was stressed over that one? You know, the buyer was stressed, the seller was stressed, I was stressed. You know, we're all stressed because this should have been done on Friday, but the title company went out of business. So, you know, the best laid plans, and I guess the story here, the reason for this, the point to take out of it is, I tell people all the time, don't wait till the last second. You know, same thing with your marketing. So this is the 17th of March. I personally would not pursue anybody, not voluntarily. I wouldn't go marketing to anybody on the April list, because you still have to have time. Even if you are experienced and know what you're doing and your ducks are in line, you really risk that deal not happening. And, you know, of course, it was a little different for me in this story because I was looking for an owner finance buyer. You know, if I was going to pay cash or just go close on it myself and pay the arrearages, that would have been a little easier. But in this case, there wasn't equity enough in that deal for me to do it personally. Okay. So I prefer not to mess with those foreclosure lists that are, less than 2 weeks away. I want to go after the May's list, okay, or the June list, so that you have time. Because even though, in my case, I have a big owner finance buyers list and a big renters list, both, and I don't have houses for them. So when I get a deal, they typically can go fast, but that doesn't mean that I have a buyer. Even though I have a big list, doesn't mean I have that buyer, which means I may have to go to work marketing it and try and find the right person for that house. So, I really prefer to go give yourself 4 to 6 weeks, to be marketing to a list or more. And for those of you that are new, pre-foreclosure means they've missed one payment. They don't have to be 3, 4, or 5 months behind. As soon as they miss that first payment, they go on that public records notification and are considered a pre-foreclosure. They may have gone and paid the payment. They may have caught it up by the time you reach out to them, but they do categorize as pre-foreclosure on that first payment that they miss. And that's when you want to hit them. That's why I like to use the Real Estate IQ list. And we have a link for that for you to get a good deal, special deal on buying that list. But those leads are the freshest that I know of. They're 2 or 3 days out of the public records postings. So when you go market to them, that they're fresh leads. So you'll see a lot of people that go on the pre-foreclosure list end up getting taken off the list. They might file for bankruptcy, or they might have paid the payment and they get removed from the list. But there's a lot of people that don't. And I'm with you, Lisa. I'm going to start hitting the marketing there as well, heavy again, now that they're starting to do some foreclosures.
So one of my questions is so when you do catch up their payment and get them out of arrears, is that done typically at the closing table when you close on it?
Yes.
So how long does title and all that need, to pay that and record it safely, prior to how many days before it's on the chopping block? I mean, what would be a safe thing, like 5 days in advance or before?
Well, I would say that's probably good. I mean, that particular deal I was doing was, was right up there on the day before the auction. So you might talk to your title company about that and see what they say.
Okay.
And just, so you're working to their timelines.
I just
The
didn't
title
know if there
company
was...
will do it though, because they can wire those funds directly to the lender. And that's what I recommend is don't try and do it yourself. Get with the title company, they'll communicate with them and they'll send it directly to them.
And the reason why I ask, because I know a lot of other investors gets calls and it's like, the weekend before the foreclosure, and the investor has to tell them, sorry, I don't have enough time to do this. So I didn't know if there was a safe thing to say, like, if they're 5 days pre-foreclosure, you might not can pull this off, and I know the weekend plays into that too.
Well, in my case, I did it on Monday, but that it's a wire transfer, so that as long as that wire doesn't go out on Monday night, you probably are pretty safe of it getting there, as long as there's no mistakes on where it's sent, that kind of thing. But I would say at a minimum Friday, and maybe stick to the 5 days just to be sure. Now, if it's a cash deal, if somebody's going in there and trying to stop it as an all cash deal and not subject to, I mean, again, as long as there's no mistakes in the process and the wire transfer and stuff, I don't know if that being cash may or may not make a difference, but you got to make sure that it goes to you're going to get that letter of acceleration from the lawyers that are handling the foreclosure. So
Okay.
that letter of acceleration is the contact info. It's not going to be the mortgage company. So that's why you want that letter, and that goes to the title company. And that's why it's so important you have that and let the title company communicate directly with them. I've never.
I'm not gonna buy one without title insurance, so I assume, you know, the title to check for all other liens and that kind of stuff. That's gotta factor into that timeline too.
The
You know,
best
how much
thing to
time
do
they
is
need to pull that.
the safest thing is catch all this before it's actually scheduled for the auction. You know, if you can buy that house, as long as they're not scheduled for the auction, then the title company can do what they got to do to give you title insurance, make sure it's all good. They'll know before, you know, when they do their title work, if there's just the mortgage lien on it, then they know that's all there is. And when they go and pay it, they know that they've paid it. So they should be able to give you the insurance.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how busy they are is how fast they can pull all that too.
Right.
And whether or not they sub out for that, so.
Yeah. I don't know that they're subbing that out. You'd have to talk to Martin, see what he says. But you're right. I like the idea. I'll get that on the schedule. We'll talk about marketing and pre-screening sellers and handling objections and all that kind of stuff. Okay, who's next? You want to talk about the house I just sold? So actually, I had 2 deals come to me last week on the same day. I got under contract the same day, put it that way. The mobile home I mentioned earlier, and just a quick story on that summary. They wanted 50,000, which was way too much. They had several people coming to look. I went and looked. They had several people coming to look. I was delayed and overwhelmed with things in the office, so I didn't get an offer done, but I reached out and said, is it sold or not? I have time to do an offer. She said, well, I have an offer at 1,000 over my asking price. I said, okay, congratulations, and went on about business. About 4 days later, she come back, said, that deal fell through. You're welcome to make an offer. So I took the time, put together my offer, and I did a video offer. I did all my presentation, only I put it into a video and sent it to her, and she didn't respond for 2 days as to whether or not she got it. And then she responded and said, okay, I'll look at it and I'll let you know within the 72 hours, because I give them 3 days, 72 hours to respond. She come back and 2 days later and said, okay, I'll take it. Well, what I did was there's no comps. Double wide mobile home in a park, nice park, no comps at all. So I went to the what do you call it, Ruth? NADA Blue Book for mobile homes. And the best value it could come up with was 36,000. So I said, okay. And the one thing that you should always do is give somebody the offer the house warrants and justifies. Don't give them an offer that the seller wants, give them an offer that the house warrants. So my cash offer was 25,000. Might have been still a little high, but the NADA value was 36. House is in pretty good shape. I got to do a few things to it, but nothing bad. But the thing that was getting me excited was I was going to do this in my IRA, and it's $1,600 a month cash flow. So that's going to pay off quick at $25,000 purchase price. So I made the offer, 25,000 cash. Offer 2 was 5,000 down, 28,000. Offer 3 was nothing down and 30,000. So I was paying her more for owner finance. And anytime I can pay more with no money down, I'm going to give them the best price. It's the lowest risk, right? If you put no money out of your pocket at closing, that's a pretty low risk deal. Does everybody understand that? If you have nothing in the deal, that's pretty low risk. Take that compared to the Cleburne property yesterday. I didn't think that I'd really have success at that deal because they wanted $255,000 for this property. And I got them down from 265, and I really wasn't sure because there are no comps on this house. But if I would have spent $255,000 cash to buy and then spend 100 plus rehab, that's a really high risk deal. So that's a much different deal than the mobile home. If I could have got nothing down on that. Well, she come back and accepted 25,000. So I'm in that house for next to nothing. But just keep in mind, remember, she asked 50, I got it for 25. So don't believe just because somebody tells you they want a certain price, don't be tricked into thinking that they're not going to budge. I mean, when I met with her, she indicated she was stuck on that price. She had all these people come to look, and she had the one offer 1,000 more than she was asking. She thought she was good. So when I went to get the contract signed with her, I asked her, I bet a dozen times, you sure you don't have any questions? Because I'm good. Happy as can be, wasn't ornery, upset because she was only getting 50%. She said, I'm just done. I'm ready to be done. Let's just do this. It was probably one of the easiest deals I've done in a long time. I mean, as far as seller being cooperative and happy and stuff. So just keep that in mind. Just because they're asking a set price doesn't mean they won't budge from that. Okay. Any questions about the mobile home? So
what was the lot lease on that?
What's that?
What was the lot lease, the monthly lot lease?
5 something. Kind of stiff, but the tenant pays it. So, it's a nice place. It's got a pool, it's got a playground, it's got a basketball court. It's a pretty nice park.
There's some company that has several of those locations like that, and that's what I've heard is about 500.
Yeah. Yep. So the Cleburne property yesterday, the property walkthrough, you should have all seen that email notice about the property walkthrough on that fixer upper. That was a 2,600 square foot 3-2 on 7 acres. And the house was on 2.5 acres. There was an extra plot that was 4.5 acres. And the owners have rented it for a little while, and then they bought it just in December. They just bought this house in December. Well, they're getting divorced. And they can't stand the sight of one another, and they're ready to move. And, when I first got there, she had a bit of an attitude, and I wasn't sure I was going to be successful. But she was nice as can be. Wasn't she, Sylvia? She was nice as can be and cooperative yesterday with everybody. I mean, she insisted on being there, which I didn't want, but she was very good. I wasn't sure how that was going to work out. But they would not budge. They put a lot of money in the house already, getting started on things, brand new roof on it. They did a lot of structural work in the kitchen and not brand new cabinets, but different cabinets out of another house, $1 million house that they bought cheaply. And they did some wall removal and started some plumbing and electrical work. But the house is a mess. It needs a total rehab in that house. And they have 5 dogs. So you can imagine what the area is like. I mean, I specifically gave instruction, go through the house first and then go outside at your own risk because, dog poop everywhere. I mean, it was just nasty. We ended up finally, she didn't do it, but finally got her convinced to go put the dogs in one of the shops, but that prevented people from seeing what's in the shop. And the shop was full of other rehab material, more cabinets and things like that. But it all worked out in the end. Had a lot of interest, a lot of people looking at it. I had several people tell me they wanted it. I had somebody give me full asking price on the spot with earnest money and signed assignment agreement. So I sold it yesterday on the spot, which was nice. Funny thing is that one of the big wholesalers in DFW showed up, never said one word to me through the whole time he was there, ran around there like a madman and left, never said a thing. About an hour after he left, I got a text and an email. He was offering me $13,000 over asking price for the house. Now, what was he going to do with that house? $293,000 is what he was willing to offer on that house. Any idea what they might, what their strategy might have been?
Yeah, to flip it for 300 or something to someone else.
I wondered, because there's the 4.5 acres, I wondered if they were going to market to an out-of-state owner and buyer to go in and redevelop that, split up that 4.5 acres, put duplexes or something on it. It's the only thing that makes any kind of sense to me is that they were putting a value play on that land. But, you know, almost $300,000 for the house and land. And it's easily $100,000 to $120,000 rehab. And that depends on how far you want to go with the rehab. I mean, it's going to take a lot of work. The house was built in the TCU area back in the late 60s and moved to Cleburne in the late 90s. So I don't know how they do something like that, but they did. And it's, to me, it has kind of a strange layout because it's kind of an angled, a V shape of house. But somebody sees the value in it and they're going to go in and rehab it. And we close on the 9th of April with it. So, but that was an example there of you just don't know. Now, again, going back to my comment earlier about full disclosure and telling people what you intend to do, is they knew that I thought the price was too high. And I told them that. So I told them, I said, when I do this open house and get investors in there, I'm going to know right away if it's too high or not. And if I don't get any offers or all lowball offers, then I'm going to come back to you and sit down and talk to you about renegotiating that price. Okay. And it all worked out in the end. You never know nowadays what you're going to get out of a house, what kind of offers you're going to get with the crazy market that we're in. But, you know, it all worked out for me and worked out for them. But I really do think that when you're talking to sellers, you know, when you're talking to divorced couples, you never know what kind of attitude or hornet's nest you're going to walk into, you know, when you got a couple that don't get along. And it was pretty obvious when I first got there that there was a problem. But, you know, I just tried to be very clear to her because she was had the attitude, but I was very clear to her on what I was going to do, what I wasn't going to do. And by the time I was done and by the time she went through the contract, she was satisfied. She was happy. Contract is real clear. The special stipulations is very clear on what I was going to do. And I did it and it all worked out. So, and I had a whopping total of $10 earnest money and $100 option fee on that house. Did I do good, Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia?
How long did you have your option?
30 days.
Wow.
But, you know, I explained why 30 days.
Yeah, because you were remarketing it.
Yeah, they knew that the house was a wreck. What they didn't know is my 21 years experience and the size of my buyers list and the investor group and all that. They didn't know how powerful that piece was. So, you know, I had a lot of a lot of potential buyers there that I could possibly sell it to. I certainly was not guaranteeing it because the house was a mess, but I figured I could sell it, but they didn't know that. So they were just happy for the help. He works full time
Where did
and
you get this lead from?
say again,
Where did you get the lead from?
my truck.
Hmm.
And here's the funny part. You're aware, you know, I have a house in Burleson I just did. I was down there about 2 to 3 weeks ago, still trying to satisfy the Joshua Water Department criteria that they need in order to give you the utilities, the water service, and they'll turn water on for you, but they want to see a copy of the deed and the survey because they have to have rights, permission to get on the land if need be, in the easement, you know. So they want all this documentation. Well, I was down there, the office is in Joshua. So I went to Joshua to turn this paperwork in, and she saw my truck. She was behind me. She took a picture of the back of the truck, gave it to her husband. You know, they're arguing. She said, call him and sell the house. She didn't think he'd do it, but he did. He called me, and that's how it all got started. So I guess my truck works, huh? For those of you that
How
haven't
many
seen my
did you have come to see the house?
17. I had some no show. I had some show up that didn't register. I had some 2 or 3 come with partners or wives, husbands. So it worked out good.
Are
We
you
had a
going to have
little-
her do a video testimonial for you to use?
I plan on it. I don't know if she'll do it, but I'm hoping to get one. Her or him, either one, I don't care. So anyhow, that's a good success story. And by the way, Ruth Ann brought up a good point. When all the new folks start doing these deals, you want to try and get a testimonial, whether it's video or a Google page or a Facebook or Better Business Bureau. You want to make sure that people go sign or do you a testimonial if you can. Not everybody will do it. Not everybody will. I mean, they'll say they will, and then they won't. And part of that is people get busy. So my recommendation is get it on the spot if you can. But I've tried to make it as simple as possible for them by giving them a link so they can go right to the page and get signed in and write it. It takes like 3 minutes, and that's if they want to write more than 2 sentences. I mean, it's pretty simple to do a review. So, and I know for those of you that have been with the group a while, I periodically will ask you to go do a review for the group. It's important that new people looking at the group see those reviews too, just like sellers. So, okay, what else? What other questions do we have? We're over our hour here. I have a plumber that needs to come out. I'm going to need a plumber at my house. I have a water leak somewhere under the master shower. Lucky me, huh? So and it was weird how we discovered this. The water heater is out in the garage, and it's about 70 feet or so from the master. So I have a hot water recycler on there to move the water to the faucet to warm it up before you start running it down the drain. And it usually takes about 2 minutes with no chili pepper, no help. Well, we stepped in the shower and the floor is warm. So there's got to be a hole, got to be a leak somewhere. It's the weirdest thing though. There's no water anywhere. You would think that if there was enough water running that far to be hot there, you'd see a flood somewhere, inside or out. There is zero sign of water inside or out. I stumped one plumber yesterday, just shook his head, didn't know what to do. I got to go meet another one today, so. All right, so anybody else have any last minute questions or comments before we go?
Yeah, Tim, I got a quick question for you. Make a long story short, I closed on last Friday, and Sunday and yesterday, I had two people call me about offer on another home. And it's my
Nice.
first one. We just started a project, this week, and I'm kind of nervous doing two things at one time. I mean, matter of fact, he was a guy, one of our co-members. I haven't talked to him in a while. He just called me out of the blue. Anyway, somebody got a deal for you, the right need. I said, well, I just started on this first one. It's a great deal, but quick price. I haven't done my homework on it. I said, well, though I was calling, I said, I don't know about doing two things at one time. I said, in my mind, I'm saying, let me handle this, this one project, because it's a big project for the first one. And so you think I should, let's see, a new do to it, just handle the one, complete this one, then go to the next one, or do two at the same time?
So I would start by going and doing the usual pre-screening and get your property information sheet filled out so you know more. I mean, if it's if it's a simple wholesale deal, then you should be able to do that while you're doing that rehab. But, if it turns out it's a major thing, I mean, let me look at it and see, maybe I'll take it from you and run with it and get you paid for it, or give you some guidance on what to go do with it, one of the two. But you're right to be concerned, because if you don't have your ducks in a row and your systems in place and your contractors in place, it could cost, you might still have a good deal, but if it's costing you time and you can't keep things moving, if it's sitting still and you have no progress on it for a couple of days or a week or two, you're losing money on it. So you want to have those systems in place. Again, if it's a wholesale deal, you should be able to do it pretty simple, because you have a lot of ways to, using the group and stuff to be able to sell it, get it on the website you have with the group, and, somebody in the group might buy it. I might buy it, depends where it's at. But, you should move forward, but move forward with caution and just make sure you're not biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah, it says a full good job, and what I'm doing is not a full, but halfway full. But he said this one's going to be a full good job.
Where's it at?
Greenville, Texas, not too far from McKinney.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go get more info and then we can talk about it.
All right,
leads are hard to come by.
That's right.
I wouldn't let one slip through your fingers, because there's so many, other creative options you can do, even if you can't handle it, JV with someone, or, wholesale it. But leads are hard to come by. So if you've got a bird in the hand, you should at least pursue it and see if the numbers work, because if the numbers don't work, then it's a dead deal anyway.
No, that's a good point, Lisa. And they are hard to come by, and if nothing else, you can maybe assign it to somebody else. Still try and get paid from it. Don't just pass on it. Even if you think the numbers don't work, let me look at it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I may know a trick or two more than you do.
Hey, you're right.
Maybe.
I know you do.
Okay, folks, unless there's some other urgent question, I need to let you go. I got to go meet this plumber. Anything else? Well, thank you, everybody, for attending today. Please go register for the 2 April tax deed sales class we're doing. If you've never heard Lexington Wright speak, man, you're in for a joy. She's a little bubbly little thing, and she's a great teacher, and she's been doing tax sales for quite a while now. So she's going to come in and teach us all about it. I'm getting a little more interested in it, because right now there's some tax stuff going on, post COVID. So I want to go check it out myself. And it's something that I've looked at, but I've never done it all these years, just too many other things to be doing. But that's a good one. So go get registered for 2 April. All righty, folks, anything else? Have a great week. Go buy some houses.